You're a fan in the background.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the NintendoFuse Podcast. This is episode 203, entitled Time to Call a Real Plumber, because Nintendo has been having some leaks. Like what I did there? Hey, my name is Steve, and I am not alone. I am joined by Barry. Hey Barry, how's it going?
Hey, it's going really well. Glad to be here and looking forward to discussing some great stuff.
Awesome. I'm also joined by Greg, as always. Hey Greg.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Ready to talk some games?
For sure. Yeah, we got a lot to talk about tonight. We're going to be talking about, like I said, all these leaks that have been happening on Nintendo's side of things. It's been kind of crazy for them. But we're also going to be talking about some glitches and things in Paper Mario. We're going to be talking about the Fire Emblem Heroes update, a little unfortunate update about Super Nintendo World. We're also going to be talking about Paper Mario, but also Animal Crossing, all the updates that have come that direction, and a little bit about what we've been talking about lately. We've had a recent game chat, and we're going to be having an industry talk up soon about Dodo Peak, so we're going to get into that pretty soon. But before we jump into any of that, I just want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you are new to the NintendoFuse Podcast, be sure that you have subscribed on whatever platform that you watch us or listen to us, whether that be on YouTube or your favorite podcast app. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you are on YouTube, be sure to, number one, comment. Let us know your thoughts about all the stuff we talk about. If you're joining us live, be sure to throw your thoughts down in the chat. How we talk about all this stuff tonight. And, of course, got to tell you to hit that bell, because that's just how YouTube works, I guess. They won't alert you if you don't hit that bell. And finally, we don't ask for this a lot, but we'd love it if you hit that like button on YouTube as well, because that also just helps other people find us. Share it with other people. That'd be great. And also, if you haven't joined our Discord, if you haven't followed us on social media, make sure you do that, because we'd love to connect with you guys between the episodes. But we got a lot to talk about tonight. But let's start it off with, as always, what we've been playing. And we'll go to Greg first tonight. What have you been playing, Greg?
Pretty much just the same stuff that have been going on about the last few weeks. Still playing Animal Crossing, enjoying the update. I know we'll go into more details about that. I guess a newer entry this time is actually Super Mario Maker 2. My daughter came across some random versus multiplayer matches on her YouTube for Kids app. So then she's like, "Oh, I want to play Mario Maker," and I was like, "Okay." And then she's like, "I want to see you try to race other people." And so I had a little bit of fun and actually won a few matches, because I'm still pretty lowly ranked, because I don't play those kind of competitive online modes. So it was still a little bit of fun, and she got to cheer me on and have a lot of fun there. So let's see. And then still, obviously, we played Dodo Peak, which we'll also be talking more about that as well. Let's see. And then for the mobile, still doing Fire Emblem Heroes. I'll be going over the update on that in a little while. And then finally on Game Boy Advance, still making very slow progress on the Binding Blade game. It's been not a ton of time on it, but I still managed to do a chapter like every week or two. So it's very slow progression, and loving the story so far, and hopefully we'll be able to wrap it up at some point soon. I don't know.
Nice.
I know the levels always manage to get longer at this point in the game, so or it could easily take like 40 minutes, and then like, oh, somebody died, now I got to restart, rewind the whole 40 minutes and start over. So
yeah, that's true. Jakester says in the chat that he's been just busy with Fate Grand Orders events. Barry, what have you been up to? Oh, I think you're muted, Barry.
My list isn't as long as usual, and that's because on the Switch Mania Playcast we are taking a few week break, so I don't have a ton of games in that regard, but I'm still doing daily stuff in Animal Crossing. It's definitely becoming more and more of a chore. I don't really like it when a game developer decides to make something once a day, which is fine, but then make it hidden behind not one, not two, but three random number generators. To me, that is just terrible game design and a lack of consideration for the gamer's time. And what I'm specifically talking about is Pascal, who is terrible and the worst thing implemented. Because it's RNG to find a scallop. Then it's RNG whether he'll pop. And one time I got 10 scallops and he didn't pop and I just quit. And then when he pops, it's RNG whether you're going to get a DIY. And I'm over 2 weeks now without a DIY. And the last 4 days I've had pearls. And I don't need pearls. And it's just frustrating when I spend 30 minutes trying to get it because of bad RNG, and then he gets a pearl. And it's like, wow, I could have done so many more things with that 30 minutes of my life. Thanks for wasting it. It's really pissing me off. Just like, let me get the rest of the DIYs and move on with my life. But I am still doing that. Dodo Peak, as mentioned, we definitely we'll talk about a little bit more about that. But we did a game chat on that. I just started Paper Mario, and I am on the second world. I am about to go into like the second dungeony area of it, and I have to say this: the worlds, the environments, fantastic. The gameplay, the exploration, the stuff to find, fantastic. The characters and the dialogue, fantastic. The battles are outright terrible. And the boss battles stick an icicle through my eye because they are just garbage. And I understand they wanted to be creative, and they're totally creative. But oh my god, do they just grind everything to a halt. And like so many times. And on top of that, there's that timer. Everything is timed. And there's no way to turn it off. There's a way you can extend it by adding coins, but that doesn't help anxiety. And like, and there's no experience points. So there's no point in doing them. You're forced to do them. Then you have to do a stupid ring puzzle, which takes time to do. And I just want a standard. Give me the world exploration without the battles, and I'll consider it the best Paper Mario game out there. If you give me the battles, give me standard 2D battles that I'm used to. Fine, I'll take it. Classic, but it's just gimmick. Oh yeah, and they did the Breath of the Wild thing where you have a default boots and default hammer, and then you equip new ones, which is not new to the Paper Mario series, but they have to link it up with Sticker Star and stuff, so they break. So here you can get better boots, but they use them like 5 or 6 times on battles that you don't even want to do because they don't give you experience, and then they break. And it's like, yeah, you could buy a bunch of them because you got money and all that stuff, but you shouldn't have to.
Right.
Could you imagine playing Final Fantasy and going to the new town and buying a new weapon, and then 5 battles later on some random goblins it breaks? What? No. No. There's so many. Again, Nintendo, 1 step forward, at least 2 steps backwards. Otherwise, the game is beautiful, and I'm trying to push myself through. The boss battles are so infrequent, and the regular battles are annoying, but the rest of it has so much charm that I want to push through. And it doesn't help that I'm playing this after somewhere between 100 and 150 hours, because I don't know, because I left it on a little bit. Finally finished Persona 5 Royal on the PS4, which is a fantastic game. It is Persona 5 Royal, I'm sorry. It is fantastic. Absolutely an amazing RPG experience. Not without its flaws, more nitpicky. But the battles, you can auto-battle them. They go quickly. They're standard. There's no gimmicks. The story is good. I guess maybe it hurts Paper Mario coming from Persona 5. But yeah, that's really where I didn't want to touch anything else until I finished. That game pulled me in, and I do recommend. And I really hope it does come to the Switch. I don't know why. But I will say this. After beating it, I went back and watched the Joker reveal trailer for Smash Brothers. Oh my god, did that make it so much better. Like, Worlds, before I was like, alright, this looks kind of cool. But now I'm like, oh my god, that voice, they got the voice actors there. And the music, I recognize the music. And the stages and all the little nuances. And, yeah, I almost put in Smash Brothers just to mess around with Joker after that, so that was kind of cool.
Nice.
The mobile front is still the same. Dragalia Lost and Mario Kart Tour. I really haven't been playing the Tales of game. It's really annoying me, and I hate that it's annoying me. It's just there's too much. There's just too many new items, like all these, like it's so overcomplicated what you can do with these characters, and they're like, here's a limited event that starts, you know, like the 3 days after the game launches, and you have to be like max level with a team of certain elements to be able to do it. So like pay money, like I really don't want to. There's no auto repeat. And like little things like that kind of annoy me. I guess I'm more used to. And one really weird thing, because I usually play at night, when I log in, there's like missions to grind for items to level up your party. Fine. All gacha games kind of have that, except they're every day they switch. Cool, fine. I don't know when they reset, but every time like I log in at like 11 o'clock at night or something, it says like they're done. So I can't even use my points, like my stamina or whatever, to do the grinding, because that's when I happen to be playing. I don't know if it's a glitch or whatnot, but it really pisses me off when I boot up a game to play, and it literally will not let me play what it shows available. So yeah, I'm only just half-assing it now just for the story, just because I love the Tales of series. But yeah, I'm dropping it like a hot rock very quickly.
Nice. Let's see. We'll go to the chat. Dave says he's been playing Super Mario, or Super Paper Mario, Xenoblade, Loco Roco, and Persona 4 Golden. And Jakester wants to know if you have tried. I'm thinking he means the landscape mode, not portrait mode, for Mario Kart Tour. You did? Yeah. What'd you think about it? Yeah, you're muted again. You're going all out, but you're muted.
I did for about a quarter of a race, and then I switched back. And that's not to say it's not good. That's not to say it's not good. It's just I'm so used to playing that in portrait mode now, or you know, just I'm able to play with one hand. I go like this, and it just comes naturally after a year or close to a year or whatever it's been of playing it. That I absolutely. It just feels awkward to do that. But we didn't talk about it. They did do something else in that update for Mario Kart Tour. For Gold Pass users, they did one of my biggest they addressed one of my biggest complaints early on. They doubled the amount of experience points and doubled the amount of coins you can get per day if you're a Gold Pass. So you know, if you're not a Gold Pass, it does nothing. But if you are a Gold Pass and you do play often, it's worth it. It's really nice to be able to get double the stuff now. So I'm like, all right, cool, okay, I'll take it. Yeah. And they are starting to do more player-friendly gachas, like their normal gacha run. It's like, here's the new character, the new card, the new glider. We're putting it in a pool of 100. So here you go. You have a 1 in 100 shot. If you do all 100, you're guaranteed to get it. Now they're doing, like, in between, they're doing special summons. Like right now is a glider summon, where there's 3 high quality gliders and a bunch of like lower ones, but there's only 30 in the pool. So you have a much better chance of getting them, and if you do all 30, which is a very reasonable and very doable, you can at least get 3 high quality gliders. I like that. They also made a new change. They made a change early on where if you do the whole circuit, everything available, you get up to 4 free summons, which is cool. I like free summons. Now they made it where if you do the whole circuit, you're guaranteed a free, like, high quality anything, and you get a free pull. That's a guaranteed high quality.
Oh.
I like that. These are starting to be quality of life changes for the better.
Yeah.
So, honestly, I think if you have stopped Mario Kart Tour, you're annoyed about the practices, it's worth giving it another look, because they're definitely listening, and they're definitely doing some changes.
That's really cool. I had no idea that those things changed. So you said you played it for a quarter of a race. Like, can you switch it on the fly?
Yes, you can. In the middle of the race.
That's cool. Is it fluid, or is it like for?
No, it's fluid.
Oh, nice.
You can choose between just landscape, just portrait, or the ability to switch. And by default, it's just switchable.
That's cool.
So, like, if you don't want to, I definitely want, landscape, and I don't want to worry about,
accidentally,
keep it as that.
Nice. I've been meaning to check it out, but it's not been high on my priority list. But it's nice to hear that those other improvements have been made, and especially for people that are paying, because like that was always the thing. I'm like, what am I actually getting that's worth this? But with those other things, that makes it a lot more worth it in my mind. Sure.
You get a lot for the $5 a month. You really do if you play the tour. If you don't play, then you're not getting anything.
Right. Closable said he or she, I'm not sure, has been playing Cat Quest 2. So nice. I have that. I'm pretty sure. I know I have Cat Quest, but I can't remember if I have 2 or not. But yeah, let us know how that is, Closable. Oh, actually, there it comes through the chat. I love the game so far. If you like the first one, you'll like it. Cool.
Awesome.
Cool. I've been playing Rocket League and Animal Crossing. One of the things I did in like we got a comment last time, someone on our last podcast, and they supported me grinding in Rocket League and trying to advance and everything. And so I'll give an update at least for that person. I've decided to, after like I don't even know hundreds of hours in the game, I've decided to change up my control scheme. So my controllers, so I did some switching, mostly the switches that Rocket League players that are like the pros and everybody else like recommend. So moving my air roll and my drift to L1, and then left button, I guess, on a Switch controller, and then I've also moved the boost to R. So I'm like more like double gripping or double clawing the controller now, which has taken a while to get used to. So I haven't advanced in rank or anything lately because I've been trying to just really get used to the new control scheme. So basically the reason for doing that is a lot more aerial stuff. So if you want to get your car in the air faster, you need to be able to hit certain buttons at the same time quicker. And so by switching those, you're able to do that a little better. And so yeah, I've been doing that. And then yeah, Animal Crossing, we'll talk about that in just a second, but not a whole lot in there except for I did pay off my final loan. So I am no longer in debt to Mr. Nook. He just every time I ask him what to do now, he's like, "Oh, that's a good question, Steve. I don't really know. You've done a lot of good stuff around here. Just have fun." So that's really nice to have that, and it's cool to be able to focus on other stuff now. And then, of course, Dodo Peak. We'll talk about that in just a second. And then I did play some more Torna. Barry told me offline. He's like, "You made me very happy, Steve, when I saw that you were playing Torna." So I naively thought that I'd be able to get to the end of the game before the podcast, and so I just booted up and was like, "All right, I got like an hour or two or something like that. I'll play through the end." And nope, not so much. It gets incredibly difficult near the end, and so I'm making my way through the final area, and yeah, it's not exactly intuitive of where to go. It's kind of a maze in there, and so I'm slowly finding my way around, and then all of a sudden, like, I'll avoid some battles because I'm just like, I ain't got time for that. But then some of them that I can't avoid that you have to do, and like some of them are a breeze, or I don't want to say a breeze, they're all difficult, but some of them are a lot easier than others. Depends on how many additional beasts come in and start fighting at the same time, and I've died several times at the end, so I'm making my way through, but I am done with all the side quests that I need to have done in order to get to the final battle. So now it's just progressing through that final area.
Once you're done with that final, I mean, yeah. Then you get the final battle and all that ending is so wow.
Yeah, it was nice to be back to the cutscenes again, because like in the side quest, all it was just dialogue screens.
What did you think of, I know it's been a while since you actually played it, but like getting back into it and actually starting to progress the story, are you feeling it as it's building up? Because it
is. I wish, again, I'm still annoyed at the fact that I was not required to progress in the side quest earlier, because doing all those took me out of the storyline. And it took me a bit to finally, like, when the cutscene started, like, to kick off the final progression or whatever, final chapter or all that stuff, like, it took me a second to go, okay, who is that again, and why is that important? Like, because it'd been, now, partly that's on me. because it'd been a while, like a length of time since I've actually played the main storyline. But I think part of it is because I've been just side questing so long that I was like, oh, right, that's the bad guy. I'm supposed to be after him. Oh, yeah, that big thing. Okay, I'm putting it all together again.
But it's coming back.
But it's coming back, yeah. So it's, now I'm just like antsy, and I'm like, get me to the final thing. Stop putting these stupid other battles in my way. I want to get to the end now.
I can't wait to hear your conclusion and finishing it. And I really hope that when it's over, you say, hey, guess what? I got 2. I'm going right into 2.
We'll see.
Because 2 doesn't have any of that kind of like roadblock in a sense.
Okay.
2's biggest problem is as a gacha system. But even that's much easier now than it used to be.
Nice.
And it's not necessary unless you want all the blades.
Let's see here. Jakester says he doesn't remember anything from Torna because he has I don't have an interest to do in G+.
New Game Plus.
Oh, okay. Right. And then, looks like everybody else kind of just carry on the conversation about Cat Quest 2. So let's quickly talk about Animal Crossing, because there was an update over the last couple weeks, and we saw in the update, this is wave 2 of the summer update that they've given us. And so fireworks display pretty much every Sunday night in the month of August. And then the thing that a lot of people are wanting, we've talked about it here on the podcast, and that's dreaming. You can now go and dream and connect to the internet when you dream, because that's what Luna says, is that's what dreams are, just things that connect you to the internet. And then we also have an island backup restoration service that's not quite what people are wanting. It actually is more of a just in case you get a damaged or lost Switch, that Nintendo can bring that back, but this is not the ability to actually back it up and continue playing on another system. This is kind of I wouldn't even say a halfway mark, but it's a step in that direction. But this is more of a just in case you lose everything and you need to get Nintendo to recover it. But yeah, fireworks display, dreaming, and the backup service. What do you guys think about all this coming to Nintendo, or to Animal Crossing so far? Have you got a chance to play around with this stuff as you've been playing the last couple of weeks? Greg, what do you think?
It's definitely been very incredible. My daughter was very much looking forward to it. She's like, "Oh, is the update here?" No, it's on Thursday. And then on Wednesday, it's like, "Oh, is the update here?" No, it's tomorrow. And like, want more sleep. And it's like, then I told her, like, I downloaded it and everything, and then we've just had been a blast just playing. She pretty much just wants to dream every single time that she loads up the game, and I'm searching Twitter for random dream codes because we have some people in the Discord not really posting their codes. So, I mean, I understand you want, like, works in progress, but, like, we'll guarantee to go back. So, like, so I did post my initial dream code that night, and then we just updated it, I think, a few days ago. So I have to post that new into the Discord, but yeah, we've had a lot of fun. The dreams, seen some really creative islands and everything, and some that are not as creative just because they're random codes. So it's all really nice to see and very welcome feature. So it did get us upgrade to the family plan, so my daughter's able to visit other islands, and same with my wife Rachel. So Nintendo did squeeze a little bit more money out of us in that regard. So
Nice.
Because as soon as like, oh, it had to connect to the internet, and I'm like, oh, that probably requires a Nintendo account, because it's
so, even though you can't access it, but
yeah, that part kind of stunk, but
yeah.
Jake's
oh, go ahead.
Oh, well, if you want to cover him, then I can just jump to the fireworks show right after that or something.
Oh, sure. Yeah, he just said that he needs to do more Animal Crossing, but he's just saying so busy with Fate. But he thinks they need to do a better job with the save system, which I think we probably all agree on that. But yeah, fireworks?
Yeah, the fireworks was really cool. Again, like on Sunday, she was like, "Oh, it's a fireworks day," and like, no, not until like 7 o'clock. And like, oh, there's red. Let's see if the raffle's open. No, not until 7 o'clock. And like, so we had a lot of fun just burning the day through, and then as soon as the fireworks started, we all got there and saw the little cute cutscene and the announcement and everything. That was all really awesome. And then went over and got our glow ears. I thought it was really cool that Isabel gave each of us a different one. So I know somebody in the Discord posted there's 4 of them, so we got 3 of the 4 already to see what they look like. So I'm assuming the next weeks that we'll just get another one in the rotation that each of us doesn't have and whatnot, and then spent a lot of money on the raffle to get all 12 prizes. So, and then even some extras at some point when we forgot if we had all 12 or not. So
nice.
I mean, those were really cute, like the sparklers and everything. That's fantastic. All 3 of us kind of agree that it was kind of annoying that those other ones can't be really used as tools. So you can't even have like the blower, like the bubble blower out while somebody else is leader. So that was kind of very interesting that the way they chose to do that. So I know you guys don't really play a lot of people local, but that's something we experienced. And like normally, like if they call it a leader, they have like the main control of the camera, and the other 2 just kind of like are helpers, and then they can cycle through their tools to help you catch bugs, help fish, whatever. But then like when you cycle through the tools, it doesn't show like the bubble blower and a number of the other like the whistle thing or whatever, like the noisemaker. And it's pretty much only the sparkler that gets used and that gets cycled through the tools. So we tried like favoriting it and everything, and didn't seem to add it to the list to cycle through. And then even if you have it out and go to another player, it puts it back in their pocket and they can't use it while they're not leader. So definitely a little nitpick by us there. So but yeah, it was really cool. We put in the custom fireworks, and they just kind of rotate them in the middle of the like throughout. So it's really cool to see all that. So I did post a Twitter that my daughter had put our McDonald's flag as one of the fireworks. So there's a big giant M in the sky.
I saw that.
Not a sponsor. Although McDonald's, if you're listening, yeah. So that's cool. Yeah, I think for me, like I agree with all that stuff. That's interesting to know though, Greg, like about the multiplayer thing, because I never would have even known that. I don't think I've ever played Animal Crossing local multiplayer. But the only nitpick I have with the show, the fireworks show, is I love that it's more detailed and graphics are better and everything this time around than the last several games with their fireworks shows. But I don't like everybody gathers in front of the town hall, but then like you can't see the fireworks. Like that's not the best place, all you animals. You need to go back to the back of the island where you can actually see everything, where nothing's blocking it. So if I wanted to hang out with everybody else, like I couldn't really see all the fireworks. I needed to go to the back and isolated myself in the back where no one was, and I could see everything. So.
Yeah, that was also one of our nitpicks. I was surprised they couldn't make like the building transparent for like when they're going off or something. But
yeah.
I mean, I understand they can't guarantee that everyone has the back of the, like their island open, or it's like something's not there, like a building or trees. So
yeah,
they can't require characters to go to that kind of location. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah, Barry, what did you think about the updates?
Yeah, I did not do Luna and the Dream thing, and I will not be uploading my island to that. I want to, but a friend of mine gave me a present of a tree, and I was like, oh, it's really cool. And then I found that it was a hacked tree, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, now I can't upload, because if they see it, they will now delete my entire island and ban my Nintendo account. So I said, okay, I am now going to just not upload my island, and just going to keep it as is. Or I get rid of the tree that my friend gave me, and I'm like, I don't want to do that. Like, no. So I will not be uploading and not be messing around too much with it. I know that it's kind of cool because like kind of some celebrities are uploading their islands, and you can go check them out. But you can't, as far as I'm aware, you can't do what made the 3DS Dream Island so special, where you can see what other people had and order the items. And you can't do that. You can just see how other people set up their islands, but that's it. You can't take anything back with you. You can't interact. And I'm not a fan of that, just because you see like, oh, I love this idea. Maybe you just don't know what it's called. It's like, oh,
right.
You know,
it's just the custom stuff that you can get, right? That's basically it.
Yeah, I think just a custom. So I'm not gonna worry too much about it. The fireworks were nice. I went 7 o'clock and did the sparklers and saw the fireworks and got my little hat. I do think Nintendo needs to learn how proportions are, because I don't know about you guys. Maybe I'm special in this case, but if I were to take a little bubble blower, even in the bottle, and I put it on the ground, I can walk over it. It will not impede my way. It is just on the ground. But in Animal Crossing, you take that little bubble wand and you put it on the ground, you can't walk through it. It's like a wall. What? How is this a wall? How could this bubble blower be a wall? No. This shouldn't be. Like, you should just be able to walk through it. It should just be like putting seeds on the ground and you can just walk over the bag of seeds. That's logical. But yeah, so little nitpicks like that, make it so you can just walk through.
Yeah.
That just seems so stupid, and I already have a spacing problem with the game because, I would do so many more creative ideas if I could, but the spacing is weird. Like fences are like half spaces, so you have that gap and you can't put anything to it, so you have this gap and you can't walk through it either, and it doesn't feel right to me. Like you can put something up against the fence in real life. You should be able to do it here too. You can squeeze between areas. There are so many positions you should be able to just walk through and you can't. And I don't know, the spacing is just really weird in the game, and this doesn't help, nor does it help with some of the items you get. But yeah, that's again nitpick. The fireworks show was great. I love the fact that you can do custom. Some of the best stuff I've already seen are people proposing using the fireworks. I love that. I think that's so creative and so nice and special. It's a great update. Is it enough to? I mean, I'll be there for the next 3 fireworks to get all the headbands, but I'm not gonna sit there and watch them for hours. I'm just gonna do what I do and move on. It's great for kids. I think kids will appreciate it a lot more, for sure. But it's always nice to see them continuously updating and adding new things. There's still a lot from older games they can add in, and I hope they do. But I guess we'll just see.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing for me, because I wasn't ever a big fan of the Dream Suite thing, what I liked best was it in New Leaf? But it was the place that you go that had all the different houses, and you could go into their house and then see exactly how it was and order the stuff that you see.
Yeah, that's
what I want. I don't want to dream and go to other people's islands. That doesn't excite me at all. But I want to go to those kind of places where you could just there were rows and rows of houses that you can just hop in and check it all out, and that made it so much easier to know exactly what I want, because I saw something and order it. If I got the money for it, order it. And that was great. And I don't feel like that seems like it'd be easier to implement than this other thing that they brought in, because I don't see myself. I mean, it's cool to visit other people's islands, but I don't know. I can also do that. I can just look at them on YouTube as well. I want to be able to what's the benefit of me actually going there beyond walking around? That's cool and everything, but I want to actually order what I see, and have that myself. Greg, there's a little news before we jump into the big news stuff that we're gonna be talking about around this Dream stuff. What's been going on with this new stuff?
So, as Barry already alluded to, if you have those hacked trees, which people have star fragments and gold nuggets, Nook Miles tickets, and unnatural items growing from the trees, I guess Nintendo has this telemetry stuff that it auto detects it, and it will just delete your dream, and then it just will send you a little email to be oh, by the way, we deleted it. You violated for hacking or cheating or whatever. So, from what I've seen, not necessarily from the article that we have up, but another video that I watched about it, it just pretty much the first time was just kind of a slap on the wrist, and then the second one they can actually suspend your Nintendo online account. So the first one is just oh, thanks for for using your Nintendo Switch, and so And then obviously can't not supposed to have the hacked trees, and they have methods to detect if you've updated it, and then you can also be reported if anyone visits it and thinks enough to report you. So I don't know how much I like that system to, I guess I think if a report is made, you pretty much automatically take it down while they review it to see if you've actually like violated terms of service or whatever. So I know you can always like re-upload, or I think you can even argue like if it's shouldn't have been taken down in the first place, but that's pretty much the gist of it.
Wow. So Jakester says just get rid of the tree, Barry. That's what he says. But he also filled us in. That is the Happy Home Academy, which is so weird because I don't think I ever drew that connection of like why they called the one on the because that was the iPhone or the mobile app, wasn't it, to the Happy Home Academy? So being all connected with that. So. All right, so yeah, the other thing I want to quickly mention is that apparently there is a typo in Animal Crossing. It's been actually there since the very beginning. It's in the Nook Miles stuff. So there's a change.org petition to get it changed. It's kind of funny. We'll put the link in our description later here on YouTube, but it's funny, like just how like the guy that did it, like he creates this whole like makes it like this really big deal. It's tongue in cheek the whole time, the video that he makes and everything, but it is funny that they've had several updates and they still have not fixed this this typo. So it's the word kindness, but they've left out the second N, so it's kindness. Yeah. So yeah, that exists. But yeah, we'll throw that in the in our description and our Discord later if you guys want to sign it and make a difference in the world.
I mean, are we sure
the important issues?
Are we sure this is like a fully thing, or is it some like English translation thing for like another like language?
Oh no, it's definitely.
I can't say that I've seen it, but
yeah, it's I think I can't remember which one it is off the top of my head, but it's one of the Nook Miles, and it definitely is not a translation issue. It's they forgot the letter N.
It's a typo.
Yeah, it's totally a typo. So yep.
How dare they be perfect?
Yeah, I was gonna go look for it. So I know it's under Gulliver. I think it's the Gulliver one.
I think it's the Gulliver one. Yep. Yeah. So, but it's kindness. Yep. All right. So, Barry, I know you quickly talked about Paper Mario already. Anything further before we kind of hit our last game and move on to the news? Anything further you want to say about Paper Mario?
I mean, that's virtually it. That's as far as I've gotten. I mean, I can't say if it's going to get better or worse from here on in. But nice. If I can get rid of those battles, it could be a Game of the Year contender. But with those battles, it's dragging it down. It's
really unfortunate because, like, this is the first Paper Mario game that I was this close to buying, and then all of a sudden, like, I find out about the battle system. I'm like, nope, not gonna do it. But hey, Blake is in the chat. Blake, if you guys have been around NintendoFuse for a while, Blake used to write for us, and he did some reviews and game chats and all that stuff. Hasn't been around for a while, but he's in the chat. Hey, Blake. Let's quickly chat about Dodo Peak because we already got a chance to play it. We did a game chat about it. So honestly, if you want to know our in-depth thoughts about Dodo Peak, you can go check out that game chat. It's on our YouTube channel. Go check that out right after the podcast. But yeah, what do you guys just kind of quick thoughts about it? Your quick synopsis. If you're take our 25-minute game chat and slide it down to a 30-second synopsis. What did you think about Dodo Peak, Greg?
Oh, it's incredibly fun. Like, even my daughter saw the icon on the Switch. She's like, "Oh, Daddy, I want to watch you play this. I missed you like playing it the other day." So it was kind of cool. I just got to show her, you can like change the birds around, which is a very welcome feature, and they have different speeds that we talked about, and then just did like a few levels, and then she just had a lot of fun watching me play it. So again, it's a very great game. It's easy to just pick up and play just for a few minutes just like that, and just to knock out a few other levels. So I did see that Barry took my world record on level 19, so I guess I have to go back and try to get that. So
nice. Barry, yeah. What quick thoughts about Dodo Peak?
It's a great action arcade pick up and play, title. You can play for 5 minutes or 5 hours if you want. The leaderboards have been exploding on Twitter. A lot of people, have been posting, especially between reviewers. And I was nowhere near in the tops, but I did notice in some of them, like, oh, look, there I am, like 24, like, cool, I'm there, But yeah, people have been like, really competing in that regards, and I think that is a big draw, especially with friends. But yeah, if you just like old school arcade style gameplay, it's well worth the money and very enjoyable, and there's a lot of content there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think the only thing that I would add to what you guys have said is my wife is a big fan of Qbert. I think I've talked about that on a previous podcast, and so I showed her the game the other day and was like, okay, you gotta play this game that we've been playing, and she immediately got into it, and got to a couple levels. She's like, tried it a few times and handed the controller to me, but yeah, it was fun for her to try it out and see through someone else's eyes and everything, and I think that's the other thing, is that it's a game for a lot of different play styles or play, like you'd be pretty casual, but I think a hardcore gamer could probably get into this as well. There's some challenge there and there's some meat there as well, so I think it's really cool, and yeah, definitely check that out. All right, so let's move into the news, and we're gonna hit this first thing that really it's why we titled the show what we did tonight. That Nintendo, it's time to get a real plumber. Mario is not cutting it anymore. You have way too many leaks. So here's the deal. We've talked about this before. I think back in April. There was an initial leak, some things that happened, and things got basically some people got access to things that they shouldn't be at Nintendo, and they didn't necessarily go get them the nice, easy, polite legal way of just saying, hey, Nintendo, can we have your old files, because they wouldn't give them to him. Yeah, so essentially an anonymous poster on 4chan has been giving people access to a lot of stuff. We are not going to tell you where to find those things. We are not going to give you images or videos or anything like that. We're not going to put them on the screen. We're not going to show them off because these were not accessed in legal ways, and we don't want to necessarily promote that. However, we do talk about the news, and this is part of the news, and so there's a lot of things that were found in this source code and all these files and stuff. There was an official DS emulator source files for Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, Netcard, which is a canceled Game Boy Advance peripheral, the BIOS for Game Boy Advance, the boot ROM for the Game Boy Color, the Famicom and the NES master boot ROM and the game ROMs, Super Mario RPG master ROMs, and maybe their source code as well. The source code for Star Fox 2, Link's Awakening DX, Wild Tracks, Yoshi's Island, Mario Kart, F-Zero, A Link to the Past, Super Mario All-Stars, the Wii Virtual Console, Game Boy emulator. They also got access to some unknown prototype game, the Super Mario Kart prototypes, the Wii Shop channel service side source code, a source code for something called Wallpaper Password Maker. And then a random test program source code, a lot of tape backups for a lot of different things, Super Mario World 2 prototypes, and a whole lot of personal data from employees from Nintendo. So not the greatest leak at all from Nintendo, and they're basically every few days we find out more stuff as people are just diving through all this. And so I want to quickly, as fast as I can, just run through all the things that I've seen that people have found so far, and then we'll just kind of dissect it a little bit and talk about this leak as a whole. So so there were early prototypes of a crawling baby Mario. in Yoshi's Island. They found human characters in Star Fox 2. Early versions of the Yoshi sprite that looked very different. A Super Donkey game with a character that looks a lot like Stanley, the Bugman from Donkey Kong 3. Super Mario 64 development dates, so when it was actually started and when it ended. Original name for Super Mario 64 was Ultra 64 Mario Brothers. There's also a bomb tank-like enemy that was unused that they found. Also found Mario Kart 64 item graphics that were not used in the final game, like a feather, eggs, and a 10-ton weight. There is a Super Mario World graphics where Mario punches Yoshi in the head instead of pointing. So probably took that out of animal cruelty and all that stuff. Yoshi's Island graphic where we can actually see the top-down view of the island. Ocarina of Time beta enemies. So ones that were not found in the original or the final game. Majora's Mask. We found out that it was originally 7 days long instead of the 3, so originally it was a bigger game. There was over 40 minutes of unused music from Stunt Race FX. There was a cat villager and also Blathers in Animal Forest, which is the original name for Animal Crossing. So Blathers wasn't in the original game, but apparently they had thought about putting him in there. Ocarina of Time, they had an early version where with the bottom of the well and the beta versions of the dungeons that we've seen in the screenshots for years. They actually have that beta version. And there was also magic abilities and an unused female character. Mario Kart 64 had a brand new track or a battle arena that we've never seen before. Mario 64 had unused enemies, prototypes, and treasure chests. Yoshi's Island had a beta version that had a new transformation for Yoshi that was kind of like a bomb. Super Mario World had a sprite there that had Bowser looking at the screen. Kind of crazy. Super Mario All-Stars also had a picture of Toad smoking. I don't know why they took that out. There's also a unreleased sequel to Super Scope 6 called Super Scope 15. There was an SNES unreleased game called Sleep that had a sleepwalking character. There was an early Super Mario World sprite of Wiggler that had a dunce cap instead and a different face than he has in the final version. Super Mario World sprite that had Mario with wings instead of a cape, which probably connects more to why he gets a feather in that game, because maybe that's what the original plan was, to give him wings instead. Also, the Animal Crossing or Animal Forest originally had you controlling animals in a human village instead of a human and animal village, which is interesting. Super Mario Kart had an early, they had images of early human racers before they decided to use the Mario characters. And we also found out that Dark Link was originally planned to be in Link's Awakening. So there's a lot of stuff there. But yeah, kind of crazy. And they're still diving through. People are, going after all these different things. But this, in my opinion, this is cool, I think, for us to just know. But this cannot be good for Nintendo. Barry, what are all your thoughts about these leaks and what's going on here?
Terrible for Nintendo, great for preservationists and historians. Just seeing some of this stuff and the thought process, this stuff is fantastic. The emails and the documents from Nintendo workers to each other, like that stuff, no, like that I'm not a fan of. Personal emails, they're personal for a reason. We shouldn't be seeing those. My biggest takeaway is this is clearly stuff from the SNES to N64 era, and Game Boy and Game Boy Color in there as well, with a little bit of NES stuff. And the one thing that if was in that list that was found would have me singing to the heavens is not there, and it fits right in that time period. Dragon Hopper for the Virtual Boy. The game was completed, it was shown off, it was set to launch, and they pulled it and canceled it right beforehand. Somebody out there has that ROM somebody has it, and if they can get that out there, we can make, repro carts and people can play it. And I've wanted to play that game since I saw it in Nintendo Power back in 95, 96 era, and it fits, and that would make me so happy to see. Unfortunately, it doesn't appear to be the case, but some of the other stuff is very, very interesting. A friend of mine showing me the Star Fox, the dialogue from Star Fox 64, but it's completely unmuddled, so it's clear, which is kind of interesting just to hear the entire script clearly. It's fascinating stuff for sure. Wondering how many things were done as a joke and how many things were just in the development process. I think that some of these things Nintendo should have just shown us. They could have done like in the Super Mario All-Stars book that came with the Wii version. It gave us a little bit of history. Some of these sprites they should have just shown. They should have been not the source code for the sprite, but here's a picture of the sprite. I think that would be a really cool conversation. And this stuff is old at this point. It's just development process. But the actual source codes for some of these games and emulation, and I mean, it's going to do great for that market. And that, but it's going to have a lot of these games running on systems that they shouldn't have. And how many repros? How many people are just going to make repro carts with some of these things and sell them for like $10, and just people are going to buy them thinking they're getting a deal, and it's not going to be a deal. And yeah. So there's pros and cons to both of it. Yeah. I wish it didn't happen though overall.
For sure. Yeah. Greg, what do you think?
Yeah, it was pretty much along a lot of the stuff that Barry was saying. It's obviously atrocious for Nintendo, especially like all the personal employee information. That's definitely should not be stuff people are trying to share. Pretty much everything else, it's kind of like nice to have, and it would make interesting facts in like a book. And this was originally planned for Mario Kart 64, or this was what Yoshi was like one of his first concept arts. I mean, like that stuff is really cool and could easily be very great for history and everything like that. So obviously the unreleased games, you don't want to see that, people just be able to make copies of them and those kind of things. So but a lot of the other stuff just seems like it's definitely could be in like a book, just to show like early concepts and like how this stuff came to be and why they refined it and stuff like that. So
yeah,
it is pretty interesting to see. I mean, obviously we're not pushing anyone to go look at them or chase any of them down, but even some of these that you listed off, I didn't even see the initial posts on. So like
yeah, it's kind of crazy, and some of that stuff, yeah, it's just different sprites. We know that the games go through several different versions before they get to the final thing that we get to play, and that's cool. I do wish that Nintendo. I mean, honestly, there's so many fans like us that would buy those books, like to have as a coffee table book. Like, give me the history of Nintendo from NES to SNES or something like that, and tell me all give me pictures of all the old sprites and where Yoshi came from and stuff like that, and then just lay it out in front of me. It'd be really, really cool to have that. It is unfortunate that it's taken a breach like this to finally see that stuff. Cool that we have access to it, I guess, but it's unfortunate that it happened this way. I would have much rather it would have happened by Nintendo putting out a coffee table book or something like that. And it's really unfortunate, that the employees' information, emails and stuff like that has gotten out there as well. That's really, really unfortunate. And I think we've said this. I think it was back in our April podcast. I think it's time, like, Nintendo really needs to be stepping up their game, like, in general online. Like, their servers are not that great. Apparently their security is not that great. Like, it's time to take some serious steps forward, Nintendo, and use all that money that we're giving you for Nintendo Online and all those games and stuff, and put it to good use, because your servers and your security are horrible at this point. This shouldn't be happening, especially to the employees. And I think that's really, really unfortunate. Game assets and stuff like that, that's one thing, but you let your employees down. That's really unfortunate. And I don't know, if I was working in Nintendo and like my personal information got out, like, and emails and things like that'd be really hard for me to. I mean, that's you're potentially breaking trust, of your employees at that point. And so yeah, it's unfortunate. Let's see, Jakester. Let's say I go to chat. Yeah, Dave saw the SNES Toad smoking, which is kind of weird. There was another one, I didn't put it in this list, but I remembered it. Luigi, I guess he was like flipping off the camera or something like that. I'm like, what is that? Why would you ever do that, Nintendo? And then Jakester said he would have loved to see the reverse Animal Crossing. That does sound really, really interesting. And then he said, yeah, there's talked about the emails a little bit as well. But yeah, it's crazy. And I don't know, what else we're gonna see as people decide to, keep diving into all this. But yeah, I feel like we're probably gonna be, having this. That's a lot of information that is out there. We're probably gonna be, having it trickle out for months and months and possibly even years. So.
I guess it'll keep providing us with more stuff to talk about.
I guess on the positive side, yep. Yeah. So, well, let's turn the page just a little bit and talk about Paper Mario. Page, see that I did that? I wish I intended that, but that was totally an accident. Greg, talk about this Paper Mario. Apparently, there's some restrictions there. The producer was talking, so kind of fill us in a little bit on what's been going on with that.
Yeah, so right around like the release, I think shortly after release, the producer Kensuke Tanabe was interviewed, and he gave details saying how his team is no longer able to just modify Mario characters or to make original characters. So it's pretty much like, well, what else can you do? So he was also mentioned that they graphically cannot represent individual characteristics like age and gender. I mean, I guess in this kind of era with all that kind of stuff going down, that part kind of makes sense at least. They have been grappling this difficult change since Paper Mario Sticker Star, and I think that was right around the time where we've heard like they didn't want to like go too extreme on the storylines, and Miyamoto was just like, oh, let's just use Mario characters from now on. So that's why in the last few games in Paper Mario we haven't seen original characters, and that's also a source of a lot of the backlash, at least against Sticker Star and Color Splash. So it pretty much is full words, like in a full quote, from the production of the Paper Mario Sticker Star onwards, we are no longer able to graphically represent individual characteristics such as age and gender, etc. in the Toad NPCs, non-playable characters. So it has become that much more important to convey their personalities simply through text. Our writer, Mr. Taro Kudo, has been grappling with this difficult challenge since Sticker Star, but has managed to achieve giving all text a sense of humor. In this installment, Paper Mario Origami King, we are able to include some Toads wearing an outfit to match their role, and also created original origami characters. So, yeah, that's based around that. And my main thing is, why can't they just revisit previous characters? They've already had a number of Paper Mario games. They can revisit and use some of the same characters and update graphics and stuff with that. They don't always have to come up with brand new characters. They don't always have to just keep using like infinite amount of Toads and Yoshis and everything, Goombas and stuff like that we've seen time and time again. So that was my main thing that they can focus on, at least for future installments, to help make those series still stay original and unique to the other one. So
yeah,
I don't know what you guys think about that.
Yeah, I'll just quickly say, because I don't have a whole lot of experience with Paper Mario, as you guys know, but I think it seems weird to like. He's almost like, hey, I know that you want more. Here's an excuse, and an excuse that doesn't quite hold up to me, of why this is like what you said, like that you could use past characters and things like that. There's enough there. It kind of seems weird. So I don't know, Barry, what do you think?
I think it's bullcrap. I think either what he's saying is just PR we don't want to be as creative, or he's telling the truth which is even bigger bullcrap, because why would Nintendo limit the creativity on their flagship property? Now, I'd understand if Ubisoft was making a Mario game. Okay, they wanna have more creative control, and But you look at like Capcom doing the Zelda games, and Rare and Bandai Namco doing the Star Fox and stuff like that. Like, there are, companies making Nintendo games with Nintendo IP with creative control to create brand new characters, and these characters are now part of that franchise's mythos. Crystal is still there in Star Fox, created by Rare, and you have characters like Din, from Oracle Seasons, who can come back at any time, and you have items like the Rock Keep, which came back, that was created in Seasons. So you have in the Minish, all that, like everything. Vadi was a character created by Capcom for Four Swords, and then used again when they, did Minish Cap, and then Nintendo wound up using them afterwards. So let them create characters as a first-party studio, or maybe they're second-party, but it's still under Nintendo control. Let them have fun. You get the final say in the end. So if they make a character, you say, we don't like this, let them do something else. But come on. Like I said, the writing is great. They did a great job with the restrictions they were given, and they do, like, a lot of the Toads have different outfits and stuff, which I like. Give them some individuality, but still, let them do what they want. Let them have fun with it. I mean, it's bad enough you took out experience points in a role-playing game. It's it's just, how much more of a show do you want this series to be? Like, it doesn't make sense anymore.
Yeah, for sure. But apparently there's also a glitch. Greg, what's this all about?
Yeah, so pretty much there was a game-breaking glitch discovered in the game, and Nintendo, I guess, has at least addressed it, and they've already are starting to promise a patch for it, but obviously it's not available yet. So pretty much if you encounter the glitch, then you get locked out from playing the rest of the game. So it's pretty much when you're at the Shanghai Spa, if you access after battling the first 4 of the streamers, you'll be given a VIP ticket to access the Spring of Rainbows. At the entrance, a character will permit entry and takes the ticket, and so it's removed from your inventory. So then if you just leave the area and go to another area to explore, you won't be able to return. So pretty much you won't get that permit back. You can't go and complete that quest, and you can't complete that area ever. So yeah. I've also heard of some, like, smaller glitches, like, involving the Toads. Like, if there's some stuff that's, like, triggered or something, then, like, you can't get the 100% completion on the Toads. So you gotta just be really careful if you're gonna be triggering stuff and not completing it, or, like, trying to exit in the middle of doing that. So I'm pretty sure they would resolve both of those kinds of glitches in the same patch. So I know Nintendo's aware of it, and obviously they don't like those game-breaking stuff. Like, they've had to fix Skyward Sword and stuff back in the day too, so it is what it is. Don't destroy your save file, and be very cautious on what stuff you start, and don't try to exit out of the area.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. And I wonder, some of these things, they just happen. I know that you can't make a perfect game, something is going to slide through like that. I mean, it happens all the time, but it does kind of make me wonder, like, did things like that slide through because of our current situation, or was that something that could have happened anyway? I don't know. What do you think, Barry?
I could absolutely agree with you on COVID being a reason. They obviously have been started developing this long before that, but it finished during this, and that's usually when the playtesting happens, and clearly something got lost, or none of the testers decided to try that, to try and use the ticket and then leave. But stuff happens at this point. At any point, there's glitches in old NES games. There's glitches in Super Nintendo games. There's always going to be glitches. It's like writing. When you write a book and you say, "Boom, I'm done," no, you're not. You're finished with the first draft. A book is never perfect. You could always go back and edit and change, and sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse, but still, games are the same way. You know?
Yep. And my wife is writing a book, or actually she's written one, and that's the same thing. She can always go back and edit more and change things, and yeah, I'm sure that some of that. But it is interesting that this happened. Potentially, I wonder if it was because of COVID stuff. But I'm glad they're fixing it. I won't be playing the game, so it doesn't really bother me or not. But it is nice that they've acknowledged and that they're fixing it for sure.
I mean, I do test as like my full-time job, and I know that it's really impossible to cover everything, especially in games. I mean, you're instructed to only do kind of more, at least does the happy path stuff work. So it's like, oh, I have the ticket, I stay in the area, everything works as normal. I mean, that's kind of going beyond the thing. I mean, I know Paper Mario hasn't done like this open world setting in a little while now, so obviously maybe that wasn't on the testers' minds to like think like, oh, maybe I should try backtracking a little bit, and then how can that stuff can get missed. And
yeah,
obviously deadlines are always key, and like, oh, this game has to ship, has to be done, fully tested, and there's usually not enough time to get it fully tested as someone that's working in that kind of field. So
yeah, and I think that always confused me. Like, I guess not confused me, but anytime like people find glitches like this, or like codes, or like game breaking things, or even in like operating systems and stuff, they find different things, and then you look at like what it takes to cause that. You're like, how in the world did you even figure that out? No one in their right mind would hit that button at that time after doing that thing and hold your hand in the air and your leg this way and just at the right place. Like, how did you even figure that out? So no wonder playtesters and testers don't find that kind of thing. But yeah, so Barry, since you played this game, does it what causes this glitch, is that a normal thing that people would do, or is that kind of a crazy thing that only certain people would find?
I mean, I haven't gotten to that stage yet. I'm working on the second streamer now, but there's absolutely, because it is open world and there is a lot. Every section there are 4 checklists to do, and that's really why. Like, if you like Mario Odyssey, for example, if you enjoy going to an open world and finding the moons and figuring things out and exploring, you will love 90% of this game, because that's really what the worlds are. They're an open world, levels with a ton of little puzzles. You got to find toads, you got to find hidden question mark blocks, you got to find collectibles, and you got to find little holes that you have to fill in with confetti, and they're all over. And it gives you a percentage, and it lets you, have fun, and you can go at your own pace. So you're always looking, and everybody's going to tackle these challenges in any number of ways. And it's just like finding moons. The first or second moon that I got might have been your last moon. So in this case, it sounds like an easy thing to do. Like, oh, I'm just going to turn around and leave. I mean, especially when the game presents you with a bunch of different options, which one you tackle first, it's really up to you. Knowing this, it's like, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to hold on to that. I'm not going to leave at that point. Who knows? Maybe it'll be patched by the time I get there. But yeah, it's very doable. I mean, the game. There's a lot of stress already in the game, like I said, with the time, and people already make mistakes. You make mistakes in battle. I've made mistakes in battle so many times, and I'm sure other people do. And sometimes you just get frustrated, or sometimes you might just remember, oh, I need to go back. Like, it even has like a marker, like on the top right. It's like, oh, there's a new item in the battle, lab. Go check it out. It's gonna help you. And you go, oh, now I gotta go back. But the game doesn't have like a true fast travel in the sense of like bringing up a menu. I'm gonna go right here. You have to find like certain pipes to bring you to like a warp zone. So backtracking is kind of a pain, but if you think about it, like, oh, while I'm here, let me go do this. Sure, it could lead to other stuff. I'm sure, if it's not play tested.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it does. This kind of magnitude certainly seems like that should have been covered, because, you're just simply leaving the area, then like that should be a common thing that somebody would want to try to do. I mean, if it's like, oh, you have to go over here, jump 5 times, and go do this, and leave the area, then no. I mean, the average player is not going to do that. But if it's just simply just backing out of the area, I mean, you have to at least assume that there's going to be players doing that.
Yeah. I think that's why I ask, but also why I think that I wonder if this has any connection to the current season that we're in because of that, because it seems like something that is pretty simple that shouldn't have gotten past the playtesters. But glad they're fixing it. Greg, I'm going to let you inform us about this Fire Emblem Heroes update, because as everybody knows, I am not a big fan of the Fey Bird thing. So, you can let us know what's going on, because you know all involved with Fire Emblem Heroes. I stay away mostly because of Fey.
Well, actually, the voice actress was replaced earlier this year. So, it was before COVID and all that stuff. So one of the first Fey channels this year, they started with the new actress, because I think she left to do something else or whatever or something. So you can resume watching it. She's not as have that high pitchy a voice thing. It's much more calmer, and she actually talks at a normal speed, and it's not super slow, and avoid some of those obnoxious sounds like the flap 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 and
nice.
All right, so diving into it, they had a surprise Fate channel on August 1st, just a few days ago. It revealed the Pirates Pride Special Heroes. There's 4 different heroes that are going to be in a banner, going to be launching in a few days, and also a free one that we get from the Tempest Trials event. So those heroes are Tabarn, Brigid, and Geese, and Daros, and a harmonized version of the villain Veronica with Xander. So for Barry that doesn't play, they've had duo heroes, and they got special a dual button that makes their to be stronger, or move an extra space, or allows other sorts of gimmicks that unique to that dual hero. So harmonized Veronica with Xander is the newest one for this. So they also talked about the version update that's going to be just a few days away. They're finally going to be utilizing the dead space. So if you have one of the larger, more recent phones, they have the very top and the bottom of your screen is just kind of blank, and they're finally going to be adding useful stuff there, you're on what turn number you're on, or if you have any special items to use, then they can be displayed there. So nice quality of life update there. For the Resident Battles, that's a somewhat recent edition mode. There's going to be a filter that will show the heroes that are bonus heroes when you play that mode. That's also a very nice quality of update to show which ones score better. There'll be 5 new arena maps. This has been a long way to change. Haven't had any changes to the map since the first year of the game, so it'd be really nice to finally have some new maps to play on. And then the most popular topic of the Fate channel is they removed 28 of the exclusive 5-star heroes from the summoning pool. Pretty much allows you to have less chance of getting less desirable heroes. So I wasn't going to name them all off the list because that's kind of a lot. So to replace that, they did add a weekly revival banner where they have 3 of those heroes on that, and then just each week there'll be a new banner at a 4% rate instead of the 3% rate to get those heroes if you really wanted them. And then finally, they're doing a summer celebration for their 3.5 year anniversary. So then they have special bonus maps to get orbs that are really easy, login bonuses, and summon tickets to get extra summons, and all sorts of stuff, and even some quests to get even more currencies that are within the game. And then very finally, it just launched a few days ago, but there was a new Hero Fest, and they have 4 special heroes on there. There's a mythic Sothis, along with a duo Ephraim and Leon, and let's see, then there's Bernadette from 3 Houses, and let's see, what was the last one? Yeah, I'm just spacing out, but it's pretty much gives a 5% rate to get those very strong heroes, as opposed to the 3% rate. And so then you're very much encouraged to summon on those, and that banner also is going to be around for newer players. So as soon as you start the game, that banner will be around, and doesn't matter when you start it, you'll always have access to it to build up a new account pretty strongly. So that pretty much covers that.
Wow. That's a lot. I was like, as you're going through that, and everything is, I haven't really watched the Faye updates in a long time. Partly because of the voice, but partly because I don't play the game, so it doesn't really matter to me as much. But that's a lot for a mobile game. Are you excited about these updates, Greg?
Yeah, I mean, having the summoning pool cleansed in a way is going to be nicer. It'll be a lot easier to get the newest heroes that they keep adding every couple weeks, so that's definitely very welcomed. And as I said, the arena mode hasn't been updated for new maps since the first year, so it's very nice to have some new challenges there. I mean, the celebration stuff, it's nice to have more currencies and more like summoning orbs and all the other stuff to build up other things like the sacred seals and other getting combat manuals and stuff. So that's all really great stuff to have, and
nice.
Just keep me playing. Oh, and one final note, they did say they were going to have another Fate channel in mid-August for the Choose Your Legends Round 4 edition. So the players had voted, and it's going to be all 100% Three Houses representation with Edelgard, Claude, and Dimitri all placing in the top, like, 3 spots. So...
Shakespeare says this is nice for people who play this, and I don't. Yeah, I agree. So, Barry, are updates like this, is that enough to get you back into the game?
No, it's just not enough time. It's one of those things where games like this take a commitment, and as cool as like the stuff is now, a year from now, you'd be like, oh wow, I can't believe I was excited for that character. That character's terrible now. That's just the nature of the beast. I mean, Dragalia does it too, and it's true with a lot of that stuff. Whatever you want to get out of it, you can get out of it. And for those that casually play, there's stuff there, and for those that hardcore play, there's stuff there, and that's just it. You want to appease both, and Dragalia. They do monthly updates every month. The first of the month, they just give an update. Here's what's coming on. Here's what we're doing. I like that. I like being informed, and I like that these Fate channel updates are happening. In fact, Nintendo should take notice how they can inform their players and their user base on upcoming things instead of staying silent.
No, that's just crazy.
That's crazy talk. What's that?
I know.
Communication. What's that?
If you had a way to directly share some knowledge with your consumers.
I know. And if only there was something,
that?
I don't know, some kind of network that connected people all across the world, so you can just convey that message to everybody at once. Some kind of interconnected network. We can call it the internet.
Whoa. Yeah. Whoa, you're way overqualified for this podcast, I'll tell you that. Like, man. Jakester says that before he got into Fate, Fire Emblem was probably going to be his first gacha game, but a friend of his that plays told him he shouldn't, so he stayed away from it. That's really funny. It wasn't me, was it, Jakester? Stay away from it.
Yeah, I believe that's still on Steve's backlog to try it out. I remember him saying he was going to download it and give it a shot back.
I did download
2017.
And then I deleted it. So I think I may have fired it up, and that's about it.
I think Steve would have more fun with Regalia, personally.
Yeah, Fire Emblem has never been a thing. I mean, it's cool for people that really do enjoy that. That style of game has never been something I've been drawn to at all. But one thing that I am drawn to are amusement parks. And I am a huge fan of amusement parks. It's been a long time since I've been to an amusement park. And I was really hoping, and I was getting excited about this Super Nintendo World happening in Japan. And it was really cool. And we've seen updates over and over and over again. And, I was like, oh, I can't wait until they start building it in America. And we have some unfortunate news for you guys. You may have seen already that Universal Studios in Orlando which was supposed to be the home of Super Nintendo World, has now been delayed indefinitely because it was going to be the part of the Epic universe, new theme park that they were going to put in Orlando. And partly because of a lot of the COVID stuff, they've been losing money, and it's just really hard for them to start this sort of a thing during all of this. And so, yeah, it was initially planned to open in 2021 or 2022, so not that far away. But now the entire park has been pushed back indefinitely. Yeah, this is sad for us. We're gonna just have to go to Japan eventually. That's just what's gonna have to happen. So podcast road trip or plane trip to Japan whenever we can do it safely. Can't just go to Orlando anymore. But yeah, any thoughts from you guys like about this beyond just our sadness and it's the really unfortunate news. Greg, any thoughts?
Yeah, at least for me, it definitely feels much sadder because we frequent Disney World, and that's the one in Orlando. So I was hoping to we can go see Universal and see Super Nintendo World, but now that's kind of like, don't know if they're going to resume that or what their plans are there. That's very concerning, and obviously Universal's not going to be able to get our money. I mean, we don't really normally go to their parks, but this would been a huge exception to actually go back there, so that kind of sucks for us. So I mean, we might have to go to see it in California, or maybe, I don't know, hopefully someday I'll get to go to Japan. I don't know, I really hope so, but I don't know.
Yeah Barry, what do you think about this?
I mean, I'm saddened, like I think everybody else is. Was it expected? Yeah. I think a lot of people see the word indefinitely and they think canceled, and that's not what it means. The plan is still for this to come out and for them to do this, and I do think they will do it. It's just a matter of when. And a lot of companies are hurting at this point. I mean, it's case in point, this whole pandemic is hurting so many companies, and what it's actually showing me is how many companies were nowhere near as financially stable as I thought they would be. Like, how many are just now, filing for bankruptcy? Lord and Taylor, New York and Company. Like these are bigger companies you would never expect, and suddenly, a couple months into this thing, and they're filing for bankruptcy. That means they were never in good shape to begin with. If just a couple months knocks them out. I mean, people talk about like Nintendo, like, oh, how are they going to do? And, during the Wii U era, they should just fold. And it's like, well, they got like $6 billion in the bank. They could survive a couple failures. These are bigger companies than Nintendo. And where's their money in reserve? And I know they have to, pay out to employees, and it's a whole different business. But to not be like 3 months in and you're just like throwing in the towel, that's huge. 3 months. It's just wow. So to see something like this, it's expected. Just gotta cross our fingers and hope that things will resume sooner versus later, and that all depends on a vaccine, herd immunity, whatever to get us over this thing. And looking at history, it's gonna take a year or so, and then it'll bounce back, and it'll just be a distant memory. It'll be like, hey, remember back then? We'll be telling our kids, hey, remember then. And that's just it. It's terribly unfortunate. It's sad news, but it's expected news, and it's not canceled. Now, if they said it was downright canceled and the whole park was gone, then shed those tears. But indefinite delay does not mean canceled. It means they just don't have a time. They don't want to set a time just to possibly delay it again. If they say indefinitely, it's off the table until they're ready to talk about it. And trust me, they spent a lot of money designing this epic park. This park wasn't just like in the minds of the creators. The blueprints are already out for this park. They have them because they can't construct without the blueprints. So they have the land. They already most likely acquired the land, so they're probably sitting on it. They have all the blueprints. They have all their designs ready to go. They're not going to let this go to waste. They're going to do something with it. They have to. Otherwise, they just wasted a lot of money.
Sure. For sure. Yeah. All I know is that if it keeps on being pushed back, that would be my retirement trip. Eventually, Super Nintendo World will be a thing, and I'll go there for my retirement trip.
Yeah. Certainly hope it's long before that.
I might be the oldest person there, but I'm gonna enjoy it. Oh man,
this ride goes too fast. It made me sick.
I don't care.
4-year-old the red turtle shell. I'm gonna kick his ass.
And that happens already online, so it's pretty much my how I get upset with people when I play like COD online. That would be the same way when I play Mario Kart online. Upset with the little kids that kicking my butt. All right, so Barry, let's wrap up this news section with a little rumor that it's almost like a broken record at this point. There might be something coming up from Nintendo. Fill us in.
So VentureBeat's Jeff Grubb has been pretty spot on lately with a lot of the stuff he's doing. He tweeted out that there will be a Nintendo presentation, or at least suggests that there will be a Nintendo presentation of some kind, and it will come between August 11th and the 22nd. Beforehand, he predicted the March Nintendo Direct, and he also talked about Apex Legends getting a Switch port before the EA Live 2020 happened. So he has a track record of being correct. And I hope he's correct in this. I think after last month's Direct Mini, the 8-minute Direct Mini, a lot of people want more. And I don't blame them. I want more too. So I hope this is true. And I hope August 11th to the 22nd, sometime between then, we get a presentation. I hope it's a Nintendo Direct. Now, he doesn't say it's a Nintendo Direct. It could be a Nindies Direct or an Indie World or something like that. Or it could be another Nintendo Direct, Partner Direct mini. We have no idea. So set your expectations in check. It's just some form of Nintendo presentation. The high hope is it's a full-blown Nintendo Direct. I think we need one because we don't know what's coming next. Paper Mario's out. We know Cadence of Hyrule is getting a physical later this year, but that game came out last year. We know new Pokemon Snap is coming, but we don't know when. That's not enough for August to December. The entire holiday season resting on new Pokemon Snap and a physical Cadence of Hyrule. It's not enough. So we need something big. And I think that's why so many people right now are jonesing for something big and disappointed if it's not. But that being said, keep your expectations in check. I don't want to hear, oh my God, you thought this was going to be the Nintendo Direct like with everything I ever wanted, and instead it's an indie world. Why'd you tell me it was No, I'm not.
That never happens.
It never happens. It's just a Nintendo presentation. That's all it said. No specific time. However, we could see something as early as next week, which is exciting. Let's hope so. What about you guys? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's unfortunate, but that sort of thing happens, number one, because like if it's something simple and small again, it's going to get a ton of downvotes and people are going to hate it, and then it becomes a meme. But yeah, I hope that it really is something bigger, but I have a feeling that it's probably just the next partner update. I think they've seemed to have said it in the last one that this is going to be a regular occurrence, that they're going to have these, and hey, a month goes by, let's release another one. So that's where my expectation level is. It's something that or something like it at that level. I don't know. What do you think, Greg?
Yeah, unfortunately, that's probably the case. So it's going to be like, oh, here's another partner. Here's what EA is bringing to the Switch. Oh, here's FIFA 26. I mean, like, I don't know. So,
not the real FIFA 26.
There's like, obviously everyone wants Breath of the Wild 2 and updates on like Bravely Default 2 and those kind of things. But I mean, as Barry said, you just have to keep your expectations in check. It doesn't necessarily mean that those can be shown, and it doesn't mean you get the right to complain when those things are not shown, because usually Nintendo is very descriptive about what stuff they say. Like normally in previous ones, like over a year ago, it'd be like, oh, featuring upcoming 3DS games. So it's like, no, Wii U is not covered, or no, Switch is not covered, whatever. So it's like, gotta keep your expectations in check based on what small little blurb they write about it. So if it's just like upcoming titles on Switch, then anything is pretty much fair game. But if it's gonna be like, oh, another indie focus showcase by like whatever Ubisoft, then you obviously know it's not gonna be Breath of the Wild 2. So don't have to make a big stink about it when that's not the case.
And we'll probably get word about it in 5 hours before it begins. If history has proven anything. Jakester saying he's hoping for No More Heroes 3 information, and I think that might happen. I mean, we also there was a recent leak or a potential leak about No More Heroes being remade for Switch, and so I think we may have some No More Heroes. You know, Studio 51 might make another appearance and block the screen or something, do something crazy. But I don't think that's too far-fetched. I don't know.
I like how so many people equate this to Nintendo fans. Like, we get our expectations so high. Nintendo says, like, this Nintendo Direct is only going to be on 3DS games, and then people are like, well, why no Wii U games showing off? Well, they said that, and I think it's funny because Sony is doing a state of play this week, and they pretty much stated that it's focused on PS4, PSVR, and some third-party and indie stuff for PS5. However, no big PS5 announcements because everyone's like, what's the price? What's the release date? We want to know. And they flat out had to state no big PS5 announcements, which means there's going to be people, oh, what the heck? They didn't say the release date and the release price and blah, blah, blah. And it's sad that we actually have to put these things there now. It's like if you buy milk, it says contains milk. Like, no, duh, it contains milk. That's almost what the gaming industry is dubbed down to, just to put people's expectations in check. And even that doesn't work. It's like then you take that milk and you drink and goes, what the heck? I thought this was water. No, it says milk. Did you not read? It's so sad that we have to do this.
That's true.
I mean, I'd almost like to think that it might be more of a normal direct, and we might get news on the next like Smash Brothers character, like the minimum. But I mean, I guess you never really know. I mean, I know Min Min was pushed back like easily like 3 months, but I would like to think that they're kind of on track for the next one, I guess. But I don't know.
That's true. We got like 5 characters we don't even know about yet. So
yeah. 5.
Yeah. I don't know. And I think the COVID stuff's only elevated all of that because we have nothing else that we're holding on to. So we're like, we want more information. I don't care if you have it or not. We want it all. Give it to us all. And we have high expectations, even though we shouldn't. And we want it all.
Well, one thing I think a lot of people are forgetting about, and that is all the games coming out since COVID. All the games in March, in April, May, June, July, now August, etc. All of these have been in development for a good number of years. So these already had a lot of time in the oven before COVID, where people were working next to each other. But we're coming to a point now.
Barry, I see where you're going, and I want you to stop.
where we're gonna hit that end of these games that started development beforehand, and all newer games are starting development afterwards. And how much longer are they going to take, given these new work scenarios and situations that we have to, they have to overcome, really, and how much longer, a game that took 2 years in an office is going to take 2.5 to 3 years working at home, or will it actually go faster because people are able to get the job done and they could actually get it done in less time? We don't know. It could go both ways, and it obviously will vary depending on the developer and how their home environment is in order, work. There are kids pulling on their ears, every second. Probably going to take them longer to do that same task. But if they, have an office that they could close the door and just work without being disrupted, it might take a shorter amount of time because they won't be disrupted by the coworker coming by saying, "Hey, did you see the latest, episode of this TV show?" So we don't know, but that's something to factor in here. So if Nintendo is already this slow giving us news for titles that were already in development before COVID, imagine how slow they're going to be post-COVID development.
The next few years aren't going to be good. I'll be waiting on games, waiting on amusement parks. Man, it's a good thing I've got a big backlog of old games that I can play while I wait.
Yeah.
I guess we got the modern era of the Wii U drought.
Yeah,
Kind
but the
of.
Wii U drought was just because the Wii U sucked, like in the grand scheme of things. This is something completely
Because
different.
COVID sucks.
Yeah.
If we just need the virtual reality thing, so we can just go in there and enjoy the amusement parks, and maybe I don't know.
You and
Then
your
I
Ready
could probably
Player
help
One.
other exactly. The more and more this goes on, the more and more I see ourselves going in that direction. Between Hunger Games and Ready Player One, that's what I feel like our world is going.
Oh god.
But let's not talk about the negative stuff anymore. Let's turn this to you guys, the fans, the people that keep coming back, our listeners, our viewers. Thank you guys so much for keeping us going and everything. And before we turn to what's coming up over the next couple of weeks, I just want to remind you guys to subscribe, share it with friends, and hit the bell on YouTube. Like it if you like what we do. Hit the like button as well, and make sure that you connect with us on social media and Discord, because we absolutely love our community, and that's the one of the best ways for us to really connect with you. It's cool to do it for a couple hours every other week on the podcast and the chat room, but we really love connecting with you guys. It's on social media and our Discord, so make sure that you follow us and join our Discord. That'd be great. Yeah, go ahead, Barry.
You forgot one thing.
Yeah?
To talk about briefly.
Yeah.
There's something happening next week.
Wait, what's something going on? I don't know what that could be. Wait. Oh my gosh, I'm going to my first Play NYC. That's what's happening.
Yes. Yes.
Only because it's
Finally.
online. So yeah, Barry, tell us about Play NYC. We did have an industry talk recently go live as well. So if you want to know a lot more about it, you can check that out on our YouTube channel. But yeah, tell us a little bit more about Play NYC and why people should sign up.
Yeah, so Play NYC is happening for the 4th year. It's happening for the first time. It's going to be a week-long thing. It's starting this upcoming Monday, the 10th, running till Saturday or the 16th. Sunday 16th. It's going to be the full week. It's a full 7 days. It is a video game convention that focuses mainly on the development houses that are located in New York City, but because it's online now, a lot of outside studios are presenting and putting out their games for the show. There's going to be talks, there's going to be panels, there's going to be presentations, there's going to be demos, there's going to be developers showing off and talking about their games. There's going to be a lot of ways to connect with other developers and gamers, and just really get yourself out there and broaden what you see and what you can play. And because it's online right now you can actually click and reserve your ticket. If you do that, that just means you're going to start getting emails sooner of all the new things that are going on. But you don't actually technically have to. You can still show up anytime, but I do recommend you reserve your ticket to start getting those information, because they've been announcing a ton of stuff right now, just different talks that will be happening, different games showing off. Like Fall Guys is going to be showing off Boomerang X, Hover. It looks like Blacksmith Bay. They're doing different keynote speakers with from Patrick Alvarez from Avalanche, and Anya Combs from Kickstarter, and Sarah from Rockstar Games. These are just some of the different panels. There's going to be one with Warren Spector. That's going to be happening, a conversation with Warren Spector. These are really cool things that normally you don't get to see. They're bringing them right to the digital stage. So you can go ahead and you can play, you can experience, you can see what they have, and it's all free. That's the kicker. Normally to go to the convention you had to pay. Normally every year they're gracious enough to give us tickets to give away. This year we don't have tickets to give away because it's free. So they've been supporters of our podcast and our site since their inception, and we've been supporters of them since their inception, and they're fantastic. They're doing some cool things like the graffiti games. which are highlighting developers of color and some of the stuff they're doing, and Rockstar is supporting that, and it's really neat to see what they're able to pull off, and some of the stuff from going there has been bizarre in a cool way. Like last year or 2 years ago, there was a game where you were using DDR pads and you were playing Mario 1 and you were racing against each other, like really quirky things. Now there's new types of challenges because it's all online. So it's definitely something that if you were interested in, or you've heard us give away before, but you can never come because you can't get to the New York metro area, this is your time to go. This is your time to check it out and see what it's like. You know, we didn't get an E3 this year. We're not getting a lot of conventions this year. So absolutely take advantage, you know, because if this works, maybe they'll keep doing this, or at least allow them to survive. You know, conventions bring in money, and when conventions can't bring in money, then they obviously hurt, and they're not bringing in money. This is still free. This is just a labor of love at this point. They're not taking in a dime, so you're not even paying any virtual money. So do yourself a favor. You don't have to obviously do every day's event, but check it out. I mean, you have nothing to lose but a little time. Check it out. You know, maybe you'll find something neat. Maybe there'll be a talk you want to see, but why not?
Yeah, absolutely. For sure.
You gonna check it out, Greg?
Probably. I don't know.
Should.
Might as well. For sure. Yeah, I love that it's longer than it usually is, right? Because of it being online.
Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah. So
2 days.
I feel like there's actually so much more. I mean, I've never been in person, but I feel like they pack so much into it, so that they have to expand it to a whole week is pretty impressive.
Well, that's because before, when you're dealing with an in-person convention, you're limited to who can make it. And while they do have developers come in from out of town, they've got a ton of them, the East Coast developers, some from even California. It's a lot harder to just up and travel just for a convention for 2 days. But here, developers are just, hey, yeah, sure, why not? And with all the other conventions closed or canceled this year, developers are starving. You know, we talked about how E3 is so big for indies because they get on the floor and people see their game, and the media sees their game when they would normally be overlooked. Well, this is perfect for them. They're flocking to this because, hey, this is a place for them to get seen, and they can tell their friends, and they can say, hey, check it out, it's free. Mm-hmm. I mean, even E3, you want to go to E3, you're going to pay.
Yeah. That's really cool. And one of the games we talked about earlier, we did a game chat on. Industry Talk is coming up very soon. Those guys met with Playcrafting, which puts on Play NYC, the guys behind Dodo Peak, which is really cool to see all that connection. And Playcrafting does some awesome stuff with those indie developers, and yeah, so especially just another plug, if you're interested in learning about games or connecting with others, want to make games, want to be involved in that industry, make sure that you do check out their website, Playcrafting. I think is it playcrafting.com?
Playcrafting.com, yeah.
Yeah, and check out Play NYC for sure. We will be there. I don't know if is there a way for us to see our the NintendoFuse people we're online? Is there a way to connect online? Do you know, Barry, or we'll just be there and
totally sure.
Okay, maybe we can always head to our Discord. We will start up a separate channel or something.
Individual game is gonna have its own chat, like they'll be streaming something maybe on Twitch, and you just use the Twitch chat. That's how you can ask and talk to the developers.
Gotcha.
Maybe they'll use something else, I'm not sure, but in a case like this, Discord would be the best. Hey, I'm checking this game out, have you seen that? No. Oh yeah, we'll go check it out now.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, we'll do something in our Discord. So yeah, if you're heading to Play NYC online this year, make sure you let us know, and we'll chat about it, and throw your thoughts about all the different games. And yeah, on our next podcast, we'll be kind of doing a little bit of a recap and sharing what we saw and stuff like that. It'd be really cool. But speaking of our next podcast, there's a few games coming out before that next podcast on, what is it, August 18th? August 18th, so a few games coming out before then. Not a whole lot, but, they exist. And yeah, as you see, we're scrolling through them on the screen right now from Nintendo's website. Not a whole lot of really big ones. Instant Sports Summer Games. I know Greg's a big fan of that one. And then City Bus Driving Simulator. Stuff like that is really important. Is it wrong to try to pick up girls in a dungeon? That's a really interesting and important question, and possibly an interesting game as well. There's not really a whole lot coming out over the next couple weeks. Caller X Manus or Caller Cross Manus or Malice Unlimited is coming out. But Barry's favorite, My Universe, My Baby, is coming out the same day as our next podcast. So I know we're going to have to pull him away from that one just to make sure that we can actually record this episode. Greg, anything from that list or anything else that you're looking forward to playing over the next couple weeks?
Well, definitely Instant Something now. I don't know. I was looking at Escape from Tethys, and that actually does sound kind of interesting. It seems like it's a Metroidvania type of game where you have to escape the planet from like a droid kind of thing. So that seems like it could be up my alley, so I might be checking that out or looking more into that one. But other than that, it's pretty much like you said, it's pretty bare bones this time around.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Yeah. Barry, anything scratch any itches you got, or are you going to be going back to the backlog and continuing with Mario Kart and Animal Crossing?
Well, Scully actually just came in today. That one looks interesting. Is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon? Is one I've heard very good things about, and I'm interested in checking it out. I have it pre-ordered. Color Cross Malice Unlimited is one I absolutely want to play, but I need to play through the first one again, or at least continue through the first one, and it's just so slow at the moment, and it didn't pull me in, and I know I'm close probably to where it's going to grip you, and it's not going to let you go, and it's just one of those things where I need to be in the right mindset. And I don't know, maybe after Paper Mario I will be, because I really want to try to complete Paper Mario. I'm trying to just swallow the urge to quit and get through those damn boss battles to enjoy the rest of the game, because the rest of the game is, like I said, a lot of fun. After that, I'm not sure. There's so many games that I could choose to go to, and especially not limiting it to just Switch. But even if I just limited it to Switch, there's so many games in the backlog. Maybe I'll check out Cat Quest 1 and 2. I mean, who knows? It's just so many great games.
Dave in the chat mentioned that that Smash Brothers had an update out of nowhere. They added a small battlefield, so that's cool, I guess. I don't know why that just came out of the blue, but cool.
What I want to know what exactly a small battlefield is.
Like the original Battlefield, it's just a smaller version, is what I'm guessing. Yeah, you can look that up, and while you're doing that, I'll just say I think from that list, there's nothing that really stands out to me. So I'll be continuing in that, hoping to complete Torna by the next time, which would make Jakester and Barry really happy. That would be crossed off my list, and then I can move on. Barry's hoping I can go to Xenoblade 2. We'll see. I do have my Wii U hooked up, so at some point I'd like to get back to Xenoblade X, but we'll see.
So sure enough, here it is, the full patch notes. The small battlefield stage has been added. You could also set small battlefield as preferred rules. You can now select any stage-specific music for the battlefield, small battlefield, big battlefield, and final destination stages. Online user experience has been adjusted. New way of matchmaking. And several issues have been fixed and improved. And it looks like small battlefield has just 2 platforms instead of the third one, so it's not a full triangle, it's just 2 platforms. So I new stage out of nowhere, not expecting. There it is on the screen. Yeah, not what I was expecting at all, but I'm not going to complain about new stages.
Not at all, not at all. And like I said a couple weeks ago, I finally picked up the second DLC pack, like a pre-ordered all that and everything. So that even more reason to fire it up and to play some of those characters and stuff that I haven't for a while, and I can also play on a new stage that I was not expecting. So yeah, that's cool. Cool.
Now it would be cool if they made small battlefield stages for every stage is like an Omega and a battlefield. Now a small battlefield for everything.
That'd be cool. They have, I think, adequately named this Smash Brothers Ultimate for sure. It is becoming more and more of the ultimate thing. There's a few things still missing, but it seems like they're getting there, and then they're adding in things that we didn't even know we wanted. So, but it would be nice if they focused on the things we do want before we focus on the things we don't know we want. But anyway, yeah, so before we wrap up, we do want to talk about just some other things to look forward to. Like we said earlier, we did shoot a video, and it should be going live later this week, an industry talk with the guys from Dodo Peak. Barry, anything you want to say about that? You did the interview?
Yeah, they're absolutely fantastic guys. It's a fun interview, and it makes me appreciate the game even more. Talking to them, the inner workings of it. Just definitely check it out, give them some love, even if you don't want to buy the game. Just at least hear them talk about it and see what went into the game and where they're going from here.
Yeah, for sure. Greg, anything else that's coming up soon that you're looking forward to over the next couple weeks? Game playing, anything else that it's going to happen before we meet again on August 18th?
Yeah, just a few more fireworks shows, getting those a couple more hats. Continuing on the same old games that we've been playing, so that's most likely what we'll be doing. So
nice. Barry, how about you?
Yeah, quite a bit has been going on. I was actually just on a podcast. Jamar Games does a podcast called Why Are You a Gamer? It's really cool. It's on Anchor, and my episode went live yesterday, which is really, really cool. Just he talks to different people within the industry, and even people not in the industry, just gamers, and just, hey, why are you a gamer? Really neat concept, fun conversation. He's a really cool guy. Definitely check out him and his podcast. This Friday, I'm not sure when, it's probably going to go live Saturday, but this Friday, I'm actually impromptu going to be back on Nintendo Everything podcast. Literally just Oni's like, hey, you want to come back this Friday? Cool. I'm also going to be back on sometime in September. Gavin will not be around, so he needed a co-host, so he reached out to me and asked. So I definitely appreciate that opportunity. Oni is a fantastic guy, and a good friend. So look forward to that if you enjoy their podcast, and you should. Their podcasts are really good, so you should check them out. And there's no playcast for probably at least another week, so I've got a little time off from playing whatever game they throw at me and say, you need to play this. My universe,
my baby.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? If I get the codes, I guess I'll be forced to play it. But when we do come back, there will be something cool, something big that I'd love to talk about now, but I can't talk about now. But when it does happen, we'll definitely be talking about it as well on this podcast as well.
Nice. Yeah. Barry, you're sounding more and more like Nintendo now. You know, it's like I have information, but I'm not going to share it. I don't know.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, within a couple weeks, you will hear.
That is true.
I'm not saying you might know sometime in the future. Please look forward to it.
It's postponed indefinitely.
Yeah, so. You're not getting that.
Jakester says that he's gonna do FGO and might do Vesperia. If you guys are listening to this after the fact, we'd love to let you guys to hear what you guys are doing. And so make sure you do leave us a comment here on YouTube And yeah, we'd love to hear what you're up to, what you're planning on playing, and all those things. Basement Dweller jumping in at the very last minute, so thanks so much for joining in the chat and saying hello. Yeah, all you guys are awesome. We absolutely love connecting with you guys. And again, if you have never checked out our podcast live, we would love to have you guys do that. But we appreciate you listening and watching after the fact as well. Hit that like button. Hit that share button, subscribe, hit the bell, all those things. You know what to do. You've been on YouTube before. I'm going to assume you've been on YouTube before. So do all those things that you know you should do, and share this with others, and hit us up on social media. Join our Discord. We would love to continue connecting with all you guys. But that brings us to the end of episode 203. We'll be back with 204, like I said, on August 18th. Again, going live here on YouTube at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, and you can do all the translating that you need to for your own time zone, because it's too late for math right now. But yeah, it's been great to talk with you guys again. The others have either been in the chat, but also, of course, my co-host Barry and Greg. Thanks so much for joining me again.
It's always a pleasure.
Yep, definitely can't wait for the next one.
Yep. And to all you guys, we'll see you next time. Until then, happy gaming.
Have a great one.
See you later.